Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. There's an old saying in baseball, you are never as good as you look when you win, and you're never as bad as you look when you lose. That was quite evident in the first two games of the Indian series in Detroit, where they won 8-2 yesterday and then lost behind Trevor Bauer today 4-1. Hey, you can't win them all, but you know what? You can try to split or win every series, and they've got a chance to do that tomorrow in a strange three-gamer, all starting just after 1 o'clock. That being said, I think the Tribe Brass is getting a little frustrated with the replacements they have on the field for Francisco Lindor and Jason Kipnis. I don't think they're happy with Miller, Moroff, and Stamets, and outfielder Jordan Luplow isn't far behind. I expect Kipnis back along with Carlos Gonzalez making his Tribe debut sooner rather than later. Even without Lindor, Kipnis and Gonzalez should make opposing pitchers a little bit more concerned about facing your Cleveland Indians. Andy Baskin is here. More sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it is a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com, exclusively with Andy Baskin of 92.3 The Fan. Hello, Andy.
Hello. I am 100% honored to be here tonight, especially after the story that Terry Pluto had on you Sunday in the paper. And I got to tell you, I just,
Did you know anything about me before you read it?
I knew a lot about you before.
Did we lie?
No, I thought it was a good article.
I thought he did a great job.
And my mom, I was just like, wow. And I even said something on the radio about it. I was like, wow, man, did Terry, I go, Jeff, look, Les is our third partner on this show, and I got to tell you the story that Terry wrote about him, and Terry and Les go back a long way, too. And I just said, that was amazing. Yeah. That was an amazing tribute.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And I'm glad to see you're still alive to do the show today. Then.
Well, it's interesting because I thought, tomorrow I got the radio award that I'm getting tomorrow.
Very excited for you on that, too.
I've been rehearsing it. For all of those who read Terry Pluto's fine article about me, this is really me. I am still alive. I know it may not look like it, but I am. No, he did a terrific job.
Yeah, it was
amazing. And
he
spelled every word right to my knowledge.
Well, good for you. You spelled your last name right?
In the column.
Were you Levine or Levin in the story? That's my question.
I was actually Les Moore for a while.
Oh, Les Moore?
Yeah.
In Indiana?
Yes.
That makes sense. I get it.
Very much sense in that city.
So wait, but were you Les Levine when you were playing for, why do I always forget your team?
The Jasper Reds.
The Jasper Reds. When you were playing for that, were you Les Levine for the Reds and then Les Moore
I was Les
on the radio?
Levine. I became Les Levine in total at that point.
Did anybody ever call you out on that?
Yeah, the guy who wouldn't cash the check for me because it was made out to Les Moore and I didn't have any ID.
But didn't you say, I play for the Reds? I play for the Reds. No?
I can't tell the story on the air because I'm going to use it tomorrow.
Yes, we're internet now. You can tell any story on the air.
No. I'm going to use it tomorrow. And
okay.
So I might have people watching.
Okay,
and then lose the funniness of it.
Okay, I don't. Now, is this going to be clean Les Levine or?
Oh, the clean Les Levine.
Or the X-rated Les Levine.
I think out there in the world somewhere that I once was asked to perform not so clean.
Yes.
Well, wait, that doesn't sound good at all.
No, I know what you're saying.
Blue.
And
somebody, I will never do that again because I'm looking out and somebody's got the cell phone
now
going.
you can't.
Yeah, right.
Now you can't, but 20 years ago you could have done one.
You've been on radio and TV almost every day for 100 years.
Yes.
And a comedian can't be a comedian anymore.
No.
Could you imagine Don Rickles going from the Borscht Belt to the Johnny Carson show?
That's it. I'm going from Neville. I'm going to Neville to L.A. No, you can't. But I'll tell you what, comedy is the last, stand-up comedians are the last bastion of free speech in this country.
Yeah.
They really are. They're the only ones that can get it. And then even if you say something that's a little bit over the line, you're toast.
Help me out on this. Did you guys get called by Kathy Griffin, or did you think you got called by her?
I'm telling you, Kathy Griffin called.
Okay, here's what I'm asking.
I'm 100% positive, and Jeff tells me I'm crazy. Falar used to tell me I was crazy.
Okay, so help me out on this.
It was her.
Because because I don't understand all this technical stuff. I'm reading some of the comments on the article, and there's Kathy Griffin, the picture of Kathy Griffin, like it's her coming from her email.
Right.
And it says, "I love Les. I've listened to him for a long time." Is that possible in any way, shape, or form that that's true?
It is possible. How many followers did she have on there? Did you see?
I didn't look.
Maybe we can call it up by the end of the show. I'll look on my phone.
Okay.
I'll see if it,
and
then if it's verified, then it probably is her. But so for us, what happened was Kathy was driving through Ohio with her boyfriend or maybe her husband, and we got this like ridiculous phone call, and we were in the middle of this.
From Kathy from somewhere?
Yeah, it was. I even think she said she sounded just like her.
Right.
I'll never forget looking at Jeff, going, "This phone call is just so out of left field. It doesn't seem right for our show. Like something is just really weird about this."
I mean, do you think she drives around the country and gets on local radio shows?
I don't know. I think she said she knew nothing about sports when she was on Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
And she goes, "We were driving through Cleveland, and I called a sports talk show."
That sounds legit.
But those guys don't want to believe me. Like I told them 100 times.
Who are we talking about? Filar?
Yeah, it was Filar. That's true. We had to kick him out of town.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Andy Baskin, 92.3 The Fan, is with us. Indians took a loss today, 4-1. And as I said in Truth and Reason, you're not as good as you look when you win, not as bad when you lose. But the Indians, their bats are silent. They look bad.
I don't know. I looked at this morning's. I was looking at the game before the game. I was looking at notes, and I'm like, Trevor Bauer is going to beat the Tigers today.
I almost would have called it guaranteed win day.
I said that this morning on the air, so I'll never do that again. Never.
Well, they didn't hit 1-5-0 for the Indians, 4-12-0 for the Tigers, who slipped back into first place. That doesn't mean much, but they're a half game ahead of the Indians.
It's April.
It's April. You just want to stay away from long losing streaks.
Yeah.
I heard you say last week there, from a fan standpoint, that the Indians are a 10-game winning streak behind. Just pouring in people in the stands.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right.
Yeah, some people don't believe me when I say that, but trust me. I think if you go back and look at the numbers for the Indians when they have a 10-game winning streak, which is extremely difficult, but when they get that, start looking at the attendance numbers to bounce up.
Well, now, the first week, they had 4 games at Progressive Field. Mm-hmm. And I don't want anybody to complain about their attendance. They had 10 and 12 in the bad weather days.
Right.
And they had 18 and 17 for regular nights, and I think that's pretty good for the first week in Cleveland.
Jeff and I had a conversation. I'm curious for your take on this. Okay, if the Indians played baseball indoors,
okay,
because we were talking about what if the original, as we all remember, it was the Dome Stadium. Remember before they put before they put Gund Arena in, before they put Jacobs Field in,
right?
There were signs on the old Central Market that said "Home of Cleveland's New Dome Stadium."
Correct.
Remember those?
Yep.
With the Indians' attendance, what would it look like right now if they had an indoor facility to play in April?
I believe there would be more season tickets sold.
Sorry.
Which you have the tickets sold, which automatically puts another maybe 9,000 people in per game.
So what are you looking at, 30,000 a game? Or
well,
25,000 a game?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think it's all. I know having 3 major league teams in town is tough to with people with spendable income. I understand that completely. On the other hand, I think that you've got people who potentially, they might go if it's a certain temperature outside, and if it's 5 degrees lower, that's enough to keep them out.
So the question was, what drives you to the ballpark if it's not, like I would say folks that are watching us now, they're Indians fans.
I would think.
I don't think there's any question about it. They're baseball fans.
Right.
But when you talk to people who, they're saying, hey, let's go to the game, and maybe they're not baseball fans.
Right. They're not going to go now.
They'll say, "Oh, it's cold, man. I don't want to go."
Yeah.
Are tickets free?
Which is part of the reason.
Is there a bobblehead?
Yeah, but it's part of the reason why some people don't like the game of baseball, because if they do come in April, it's not a fun experience, no matter how big a baseball fan you are.
Till the 9th, if they win, and you see a couple fireworks.
Right.
You're good.
They had to put fireworks every game. Day games or not. Just
only you, Les. Only you would say that.
216, and you could have fireworks, and a baseball game could break out.
That's a possibility.
216. What's new in your hockey world?
Tryouts are going on right now for everybody for next year, which I think is just ridiculous. I think that when you have youth hockey, you should try out in the fall.
This is not school. This is
no. This is all youth stuff.
Youth stuff.
And then the school stuff, I think is. I don't think Ohio High School Athletic Association will let you do it until. But if you're playing like club hockey, I'm sure they're having tryouts for you for next year.
Do you have any? What age are you talking about now?
I'm all over the board because I think I'm going to jump back in the high school game next year.
Oh, nice.
And so I coached at Gilmore for a while with John Malloy, who was my high school coach. I think I'm going to hop back in there again next year. And I hope so because I, especially when you're not coaching your own kids, I love coaching kids and watching somebody who's at the beginning of the year that hasn't learned something, and then by the end of the year you watch them and they can do it on a consistent basis.
And
that's the greatest reward of all time.
Do you get parents who say, "Oh, he's got a kid on the team and he's favoring him or her"? You get that? For
my kids, when my kids play on them, no. I subscribe to the Al Baskin school.
Which is?
My kids get the bench first because I don't want to hear it. And excuse me.
216.
Not my dad's man I'm talking about. He was making me cough. My dad would put me on the old Tris Speaker Baseball League in Cleveland Heights University. It's growing up. My dad was our manager all the time. And if it was time to get benched, and they did a great job.
Did he treat you tougher than he did other kids?
Oh, he was because I was the one that was going to the bench because he was going to yell at himself in the mirror, right?
Exactly. 216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Andy Baskin, 92.3 The Fan, is with us. When we come back, we'll see where Sports Illustrated ranks the Browns and everybody else's running backs. I think you're going to find it interesting. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/more sports and less Levine. New content posted each and every day. Andy and I return in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Birthdays for today, Andy. Let's take a look at them. I find it ironic that John Madden and Don Meredith born on the same day, 2 years apart.
Wow, that's crazy.
Bills Are Overdue, 1947.
Oh, I know him.
Who doesn't?
Yes.
Mel Blount, Ken Griffey. This is a good day for birthdays.
Yeah.
Ken Griffey
Except
Sr.
for Bill.
and Corey Kluber. All of a sudden, where are people down on Corey Kluber? I don't know.
You go back and look at the playoffs. I still think Houston cheated. I'll say it 100 times.
Tom Hamilton ripped Houston completely today.
For cheating?
Yes.
Yes, he's 100%.
And then with the same guy in the next series against Boston, doing the same thing.
He cheated.
He
cheated.
cheated.
Look, and when you
Wouldn't
talk
have mattered.
But listen,
but they cheated.
You know, if you're Corey Kluber and you know it's this close to being a strike and it's this way or that way, and they've got, I mean, they had a guy with a fake credential.
Yeah.
And no one made a big stink about it. You know why? Because they caught him in Boston. If it was the other way around, and it was before they actually played, but because it was Cleveland, it's no big deal. They caught a guy cheating.
Same guy.
Yes.
How do you not look out for him the next game?
And he had been there before. They have a picture of him cheating. What happened to Houston?
Let me tell you something. When you and I need to get credentials for games like that, it's like we're trying to get in to see some major political figure.
Yeah, the president.
Oh, okay.
I'll say that.
I'm keeping
the
the
governor?
politics out of it.
All right. Some political figure. That's fine.
All right, 216-575-0403. So, Sports Illustrated. Do you remember all these lists coming out in other years? Is this a whole new?
There's a great list right now on The Athletic where they did the poll of the players in the NBA.
Of what?
And, like MVP, who's the best?
Okay.
Who's the GOAT? What's the biggest problem in the NBA right now? They said officiating. They said officiating was the biggest problem in the NBA.
No, I think it's teams in the middle of the country having no chance to win anything.
Now it is. Now it feels that way.
By the way, do you feel that? Yes, you do feel this way. But how strongly do you feel about LeBron James causing what happened with Magic Johnson?
I don't know. Like, I just don't know what happened. Because you look at Magic and you wonder, well, was he the wrong guy for the job? That's one part.
Okay.
But there's just no way LeBron didn't have something to do with it.
Something to do with everything.
There's drama all over the place. Yeah. And I don't know how you can't say that something was going on there. But LeBron was always careful about getting blamed for things, right?
Yes.
And if it's not him, it's Rich Paul or the GM's taking the blame, or Dan Gilbert's taking the blame, or somebody else is taking the blame. Let me ask you this real quick, because I'm sure you're going to move on here. If in LA next year it's LeBron, Kyrie, Ty Lue, and Griff, how are you going to feel? What if all those guys are with the Lakers next year?
I can't believe that it was orchestrated to be that, but I can see how people would think that.
And would that upset you?
No, I don't get upset about stuff anymore.
Oh, you're done? You don't let the millionaires ruin your day?
No. But I do let Sports Illustrated's running backs ranking mess up my day a little bit.
Oh, no.
Because I thought we're looking at the Browns as one of the best running back combos. Well, apparently they're not. Kareem Hunt is not included in this situation, but they've got the Giants first, led by Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara of the Saints second. The Panthers have McCaffrey. Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott. Todd Gurley is fifth, and the Cleveland Browns 20th, with Nick Chubb as their leading running back. Is that strange or not?
Well, it's just Chubb, though. But if you have Kareem Hunt, where are they? Replace Nick Chubb. Oh, look at that. It's like magic.
Well, we were able to do that.
You guys
talk
are
about
good.
magic, and look what happens. 192 carries for Nick Chubb, 181 for Kareem Hunt. That, of course, with Kansas City. Just under 1,000 yards. Actually, Chubb did make it over 1,000, then he lost a couple of yards on a play. And 15 touchdowns becoming between the two of them.
That's half a season for Hunt, right?
That is.
Okay,
well, yeah.
So look at the numbers now, and remember that Nick played in twice as many games.
Right. You'd have to have it in the top 10, I would think. But interesting enough, the list we had there with the top 5 were all National Conference teams, NFC teams.
Oh, you're right, yeah. That's a good point. So that's good for us, but I don't think the Browns are the 20th.
I wouldn't
I don't
think.
think
Well,
they're 20th.
maybe if you're taking Chubb and then you're adding Duke Johnson in it, maybe it is 20th. Somebody's got something against Duke Johnson. I don't know who. What am I not seeing? Am I missing something with him?
It must be. It has to be something that's going on in Berea. I mean,
because no matter what
speculate, I can speculate based on other athletes.
Let me just mention that you've got. He's gone through several head coaches and several offensive coordinators and hasn't moved up the play chart. Okay, now speculate.
Is that ethics? It's a work. It's not ethics. Ethic. Is that a work ethic type of
that he
position?
Only shows up on game days?
I don't know. I don't understand it. I mean, the media, I know a lot of us, I want to see more of him.
Right.
But there's a reason why they're not using him.
What do you think teams will prepare for more getting ready to play the Cleveland Browns? The running game, especially when Hunt is back, or the passing game?
Oh, it's passing game. It's got to be passing game.
Because you got to double somebody.
Options. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you going with this thing? If you're not doubling OBJ, then you've got 3 other guys, and you've got Njoku coming off the line at tight end. I mean, look how deep they are, guys that can catch the pass.
Here's what I hope. They find a way to get things done, and they don't worry about evening it off to please everybody. If something's working, just keep going with it.
I hope you're right. As long as nobody starts chirping, you're good.
Well, they won't chirp if they're winning.
That's exactly right. It's hard to yell when you got more points than the other team at the end of the game.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. When we come back, we'll find out if John Dorsey is going to trade up in the draft. We'll do that and more. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday with a post time of 6 p.m. Open early every day for simulcast action. Road to the Derby contest every Saturday, and that's through April 20th. Scout this year's Kentucky Derby contenders for a chance to win cash up to $500 per person. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
When my dad started Nature Stone right here in Northeast Ohio, he created a solution for age-old concrete problems. Unevenness, cracking, pitting, and more. Nature Stone solves all of these problems in garages, basements, and outdoor spaces. Nature Stone is beautiful, environmentally friendly, and always affordable. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Get Nature Stone installed in your home by the end of April and get up to half off. Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today.
It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
All right, Andy, you're about to witness one of my favorite How Come Quickies.
Okay,
ready for this? How come if you buy a small bag of small bags, they're going to ask you if they should put it in a small bag? That incorporates the whole essence of what a quickie is all about.
Yeah, it won't fit, will it?
Well,
you got to put it in a medium bag, right?
But they're going to ask you.
That's a good point. What if they say paper or plastic?
You know what job I'd like?
What job would you like, Les? Yeah, I woke up this morning and I'm like, damn, I wonder what job Les wants.
The guy who works for the potato chip company that takes the air out of the bag so it makes you look like you got a lot of potato chips in there, but you really don't.
You mean puts the air in, right?
I don't know what they put in. All I know is that, hey, there's a luscious-looking bag. Let me have it. Oop, there's nothing in it. They got to pay that guy a lot of money.
Yeah, how do they get away with that?
I don't know how they do
Why? Does it make it so that the chips won't break if there were too many in there?
No, they're doing it to charge you extra amount of money. What
I
else
have an
could it be?
idea. I have an idea. After you're done playing tennis, take the potato chips and put them in the tennis can holder.
Well, that's not going to make the chips bigger, nor will it put more chips in the bag.
Somehow or another, that became a fad. Think about that. Think about how silly that is. I like these potato chips because they're now in a tennis ball.
Okay, that's marketing.
Yes.
All right, that's different. You had an idea?
Oh, no, we were talking about, so you have this big award coming up tomorrow, right? Are you prepared?
Pretty much.
You able to sleep tonight?
Pretty much.
How long is your speech?
Well, I'll ask you that after you tell me what you're going to do.
Okay, so we decided where should the Les Levine statue be?
Right.
Do you want to guess?
No, go ahead.
Well, we said Sokolowski's.
Oh, I'd be honored.
That's what we said. Yeah, that's where we said we should put it.
I'd be honored. I mean, that guy has been with me 27 years in a row in advertising. There isn't anybody who's done that.
I can't think of anybody like that.
I mean, certainly not in this town.
He's like the Dirk Nowitzki of restaurants, right? Dirk, 20 years. Can you imagine he played 20 years for the same team?
Yes.
20 years.
And here's how I know you're right. Nowitzki and Sokolowski end in SKI.
There you go. That's why it's the same. It's the same.
All right. What did somebody else have an idea?
Of other places to put it? No, that's like a slam dunk.
Yeah, you get that.
I did. I said a corned beef place first. I was wrong.
Well,
where would you like your statue?
I don't want them to build it for a long time. We'll discuss it in 20, 25 years.
I don't know. I didn't say Mount Olive, did I?
216-575-0403. A lot of you may not know what that was, but that was very funny what Andy just said.
The 5 people that understood the
216-575-0403. All right, John Dorsey. He's trading up, trading down. He's made the big trade with Beckham. Why don't I get enough credit for noticing that Modell ruined the team, but Odell is going to bring it back?
You get credit for that. I will give you credit for that tomorrow on the radio, too. I'll make sure. Do you think they're going in the first round? Do you think they're drafting back in?
No, I hope not. I hope they got where they want to. What?
I don't think they are either. I don't think that they're. I think they're
because they don't want to,
or
or because it's not available.
How are they? It's not going to be available.
Okay.
And But I would say this: if they found somebody they liked, next year's first-round pick is whatever you want.
Could very
man, you
well
can
be.
have it.
Could very well be.
When's the last time you felt that way?
I can't remember.
It's been. You have to go back to Bernie.
So many things have to go back to Bernie.
Yeah.
People who are under 40 will understand what the Bernie thing is all about. If you're under 40, you're saying, what's the big deal? I saw a tape of him, or I went on Google or whatever. I don't see the big deal. Go watch the New York Jets, Cleveland Browns playoff game, the Gastineau game.
Yep, I was there with my dad.
Okay, watch that, and that you'll see what Bernie Kosar was all about.
Thank God for Gastineau.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Thank God.
It was a stupid play.
That was the dumbest play ever.
And they had the guts to call it. Hey, by the way, where do you stand on the opening game for the Browns? Would you want them in New England or not?
They're going to have to play New England at some point.
Yeah.
So I actually would love to see them. They only have one win since they've been back in opening day, right?
True.
It's one.
True.
And I'd love for them to get a win to open
I'd
the
like
season.
I'd like the New England game to be somewhat down the road so they can build up some momentum, win some games before they do that.
I want
and
New
also,
England early, though.
Okay.
I'd like them in the first month.
I agree. How about opening game, New York Jets at Cleveland Browns to commemorate 50 years of Monday Night. I think it's 50 years of Monday Night Football.
Is that next year or this year? We talked about that with 70.
Well, it'll be the 50th game on Monday Night Football, but it'll be 49 years. Yeah.
So next year would make more sense.
Yeah.
How's Homer Jones? Anyone know?
He's doing well.
Is he still with us? I'm just curious. I don't know. Sorry, bad question. Bad question.
I don't know.
Bad question.
But a former Brown did pass away over the weekend.
Oh.
I don't want to say it over the air. If it's been cleared or not, I will tell you.
Oh.
That's not
what are we
fair for me
doing?
to
Come
do.
on, stop. Can we talk
All right,
about
so is he going to trade up? So let's take a look at the draft choices as we have it right here. First one they have is the second round. It's the 49th pick. Then it goes to the third round, 80th pick, 119th pick, 144. And somebody's going to say, oh, that's too bad they don't have any draft picks. Do you know what they did to get that list by itself? It's been, I mean, you got to give Sashi Brown a little credit, do you not?
Absolutely. In Sashi, we trusted. 1, 2, 3.
Well, 3 fifth-rounders.
We got 5, 7, 8 picks. Is that right? Yeah, 8 picks.
Yeah.
You think I'd be able to look at that and see it right away? How many of those guys will stick with the team next year?
Well, I don't know, but I've got a couple of mock drafts here, seeing who they do. Browns, according to the first one we have here, and R.J. White says the Browns trade up to number 45, take cornerback Justin Lane from Michigan State and Benedictine.
Yes.
Ryan Wilson, in his mock draft, Browns select Jonathan Abram, Mississippi State, and the Browns select in Chris Trapasso's mock draft, David Long, cornerback from Michigan.
You need defensive help in the backfield, right?
Yeah, they're not subscribing to my theory of taking the best Buckeye available. Here's the story on Justin Lane, cornerback out of Michigan State, 6'2", 192, 72 tackles, 1 INT, and 130 tackles in his career, 3 interceptions, and second team All Big Ten in 2018. Then we
I remember when they were recruiting him. I remember them coming up to Bedford to come watch him play.
Who Michigan was?
Yeah, Michigan State. Yeah.
Michigan State?
Wow, I can't remember the name. It was with Ohio State too. I talked to him that night. I'll remember his name.
Okay, Jonathan Abram, Mississippi State, 5'11", 205, 99 tackles and 9 tackles for losses, and in his career, 195 tackles. Second
Jim
team.
Bolden, sorry.
Oh yeah.
I remember Jim Bolden.
Second team All SEC in 2018. And then we take a look at David Long from Michigan, 5'11", 196, 17 tackles, 1 INT last year, and 37 tackles in his career. He is a first-teamer, All Big Ten in 2018.
Are we good to replace a defensive back from Michigan with a Michigan defensive back?
It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Now you take a look at Jeffrey Simmons. Here's a guy who just got hurt in February. Just 2 months ago, preparing for the NFL scouting combine. He's got some other baggage involved. He must be pretty good if they're even considering him at this point to be a potential Cleveland Brown. Why would you pick a guy just coming off surgery when
because every one of these guys has a zipper.
Yeah, but this
when
is
they see him, but that ACL, you're right. I don't know how long it's going to be.
Yeah,
I was watching ACL. Not this is weird, but I was watching ACL surgery the other day. But they were showing that it was like graphics of like I never realized what happens when an ACL rips. We just assume it's an ACL, and then now what they do is the surgery I was watching, they clear out the entire old ACL that might be ripped inside, and then they'll shave off another part, and then they'll replace your ACL with another part to put it back in there, and it's really interesting to watch.
Was it a real ACL, or was it?
No, it was it was like a video.
A cartoon video?
Yeah, it was like a cartoon. Yeah. It was either that or Dr. Pimple Popper. I didn't know what to watch that night, so I was like, I never really thought about what do they do during an ACL surgery and how do they actually clean that out, but it's pretty fascinating.
They stop, get a sandwich while they're waiting.
Yeah, of course. Play music.
They can play.
What would you listen to if you were doing surgery?
If I was doing surgery?
If you were performing surgery?
I have no idea, but I'm just thinking that.
Best of.
I knew that.
What island are you on? What's the album you took?
Got to be Simon and Garfunkel.
That's what you do, Simon?
Yeah, I think so.
I
knew a guy who had water on the knee, but he took a towel and he wiped it off.
You should. I need one of those rim shot machines.
I'll let you borrow mine. It's in my pocket. 216-575-0403. Andy Baskin is with us. When we get back, we'll take a look at our question of the day, and we can find out what the question was. We'll also look at the answers. But in the meantime, I'm the voice of truth and reason. I also have the voicemail of truth and reason. You can leave messages for us 24 hours a day at 216-200-6650. Call anytime, leave a message. Don't make it War and Peace. Kind of make it the Cliff Notes version if you want to get it on the air on More Sports and Less Levine, which continues in a moment. We're exclusively here on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
At this date in sports history, Jim Thome in 1998 hits a 3-run walk-off home run in the Indians' home opener. They beat the Anaheim Angels by a score of 8-5 in 10 innings. Indians go on to win the AL Central, winning 89 games, but they lost in the ALCS to the New York Yankees.
Do you remember when Thome hit the grand slam against the Yankees that year? Was that
Yes.
98? So I was at Yankee Stadium for that one. I've never seen a moment of more respect for a player from any time I've ever been in New York. I mean, that place was buzzing. It was crazy. They were up 5-0.
I've heard you say on numerous occasions that the Yankee fans are really knowledgeable. They're not obnoxious New Yorkers as some might be.
Oh no, they might be a little obnoxious, but they're real.
They know the game.
They know the game. They know the game. I've never been to St. Louis, which is crazy because I was with the Indians for 8 years traveling with them, and we just never coincided with St. Louis. But for my, Boston fans are pretty smart too. But Yankee fans, those bleacher bums, I mean, if you're going to go out there and rip somebody, and their stats from like high school and college, and and how they stunk in another sport. I mean, I was impressed. I mean, it's the one thing that's really.
Would you go from the hotel to the stadium in New York?
Yeah. And so
does the guy, the owner of that clothing store or jewelry store, does he still moon the team's bus as it comes by?
I do remember that early on. Yeah, we got mooned. Yeah, I remember that.
I think that was standard operation.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that back. What I always remember was, you could take, it was easy to take the train out to the Bronx, but if you wanted to take a town car, or if you took a town car out, it was like $40, and to come home it was like $80 to come back to Manhattan, and I was just like,
hey, you're on the company dole.
I tried to save Fox money at that point.
Good for
That's
you.
how they could, have all these great contracts they have right now. You know what's amazing? And I was just saying this. Fox Sports Ohio the other night had 4 games on at one, or had 3 games
the
on at one
hockey,
time.
the 2 baseball, the Reds and the Indians.
I was
what
watching
else?
everything. Reds, Indians,
Clippers, maybe,
Cavs, and Blue Jackets. They had all 4 on at one time.
Did the Blue Jackets? Hey, tell me why they changed the seeding in Stanley Cup. What is the purpose of that?
To get more teams in, and because they realigned, they went to that Metropolitan Division.
Yeah, but it's not like 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7.
You're still looking for the best. I mean, the Blue Jackets have their hands full with Tampa. Tampa beat them 4 times during the regular season, 4-3, and every game wasn't even close. Now we'll see what the Blue Jackets can come up with, but it'll be interesting to see how they play.
I mentioned in the last segment that we've got the Facebook question of the day. We'll get to that in a moment. In the meantime, we're going to go to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. Mark is in Melbourne. I don't know if it's Australia or it's Florida, but we'll find out. Go ahead, Mark.
Hi, Les. This is Mark from Melbourne. I wanted to call and tell you that one thing that I think could derail the Browns season is Baker Mayfield not making the expected jump everybody is predicting. I haven't seen anybody suggest that Baker doesn't take a step forward, that he actually takes a step backwards, and maybe even disappoints to a certain degree. I think that is the single only thing that could derail the Browns season.
All right, you can't argue with a recording.
No, you can't.
But does he have a point?
First of all, I'll say Melbourne, Florida.
I would say that also.
My mother-in-law lives there. I just figured I'd throw that out there. My mother-in-law is listening next to Mark. I don't know if they would be, but I want to say hello to my mother-in-law.
It could happen.
Do I believe that? I don't. That's not even on my radar. I'll be honest with you.
What, you're assuming he'll sail through?
No, I think he's going to be fine. And let's not forget, he didn't play a whole season last year.
And it wouldn't be.
And maybe that might be part of the problem, though, that other teams have tape on him now. But I'm not going to worry about that. That to me. I'm more worried about Freddie Kitchens being a first-year head coach than I am about the sophomore slump of your quarterback.
I've been saying that before. We have a Facebook question of the day, and that question of the day is which defensive player is the most important to the success of the Browns in 2019? Rick May says Myles Garrett. Let's hope this year the number of offside penalties will decrease. Glenn Berger says Myles Garrett. He has a chance to really disrupt the football game by applying pressure on the opposing quarterback. Once a quarterback is highly pressured in a game, the offense will become inconsistent. Carl St. John says Ward, he has to stay on the field. Dennis Percy, the linebacking core. And Kevin Piles says Sir Lawrence Olivier, because he's going to help free up Myles Garrett from the double teams. I think he's got a point there.
That's fair. My first thought was Myles Garrett, though, too.
And I'm have to be.
Are you worried about Ward? I'm not. I mean, look, I think
concussions, but what are you going to do?
There's nothing you can do about it. And I hope they were just being precautionary, a little bit extra. I mean, I know there's protocol,
right?
But you can also take protocol to the next step. So
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Andy Baskin from 92.3 The Fan. You can hear him from 10 until 2. Coming up, will Larry Drew remain with the Cavaliers? I've heard both ways. I heard, number one, he's not interested in it. Number two, he got more interested as the season went on. And number three, they're not interested in him. So we'll explore that and who we might see staying with the Cavaliers team when we get back. So Andy mentioned Sokolowski's. I haven't been there since this afternoon.
Oh.
Normally I go on Thursday, but we called an audible at the line of scrimmage today. What a place that is. Are you familiar with Dingus Day?
Of course I am.
Dingus Day coming up on April 22nd. And they'll be open specially. Not normally open on Monday nights, but they will be. That's on the 22nd of April.
Will you explain to everybody, because I thought it was fascinating, why they're University Inn? Like, it took me forever.
University Street is the street behind it. Downtown is behind it.
Right.
And, I mean, think about Tremont. All the different literary and college and professor.
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to, what is now Case Western, 100 years ago was planned out to be right there in Tremont. That's why it's University Inn.
It's a great story.
Thank you for asking. It established in 1923 when Mike and Bernie's grandparents started off the whole thing. It's the oldest family-owned and operated restaurant in all of Northeast Ohio. And we're coming back in a moment with Andy Baskin, exclusively on cleveland.com.
The concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with NatureStone flooring. NatureStone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping. Plus, NatureStone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Get NatureStone installed in your home by the end of April and get up to half off. Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today.
It's not just a floor. Wow, it's NatureStone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
The difficulties in going through a tough season, and you get to the final games of the season. Is it hard to be motivated to finish out the season? Yeah, it is, and I've been there as a coach and as a player. So I won't. I mean, tonight is it's kind of bittersweet. As tough as this season has been, I really enjoy coming to work every day. As crazy as that may sound, I really enjoy coming to work every day because these guys made it that way. You know, they stayed focused and they stayed the course. When I took over, and I told them I would. I would make demands on them, and I expect them to play hard, and for the most part, they did that. But watching Channing go out the way he did, that'll be more memorable than anything probably.
Larry Drew, of course, the interesting part of that whole thing when he took over from Ty Lue, how do you know what your marching orders are? Win as many games as you can, get into the playoffs, develop certain players. What do you think he was told to do, or do you think he just decided on his own?
Until Kevin Love got hurt, I think the marching orders were make the playoffs. Let's see what we can do. Let's make the playoffs. Then after Kevin got hurt, I think they said, let's back off on all this. We still have that draft pick we want to protect to make sure that we've got it so Atlanta doesn't get it. I really think that his job drastically changed, all based on Kevin Love.
All right, so do you think that Kobe Altman had constant meetings with him to say, you got to play so-and-so because we got to see what he can do? Do you think he'd hear from Dan Gilbert? And my guess is he didn't hear from Dan Gilbert at all.
I don't think this was a big Dan Gilbert year. Now, Dan might have been talking to Kobe. But as well as I do, Dan's not going to keep his hands off. He's not.
Right.
And he's going to say, but I don't think he's going to, I don't think he's as hands-on as people think he is. Like, I think he's going to let Kobe do what Kobe needs to do as long as it mirrors what he was probably thinking.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. But I saw him, I'm going to say 6 weeks ago, he's sitting behind the
Kobe?
No, Dan.
Okay.
Dan Gilbert. And he was sitting at his seats, 3-4 rows back. And Cavs made a good play to take the lead late in the game, and he stood up and Fox had it. He's standing up cheering like he really wanted to win. Now, you would think he'd be a little more calm about it, but that didn't look like a guy who wanted to tank a season.
So his very first game that he bought the Cavaliers, I was doing sidelines, and I remember walking up to him and saying, "Hey, Mr. Gilbert, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm your sideline guy for Fox." And they had like a 15-point lead at that point, and I think it had trickled back to 7. And he's like, I'm doing okay, but I got to tell you, if we give up this 15-point lead, I'm not going to be very happy about it.
Wow.
This is the first night I met him.
I thought he was going to throw you out of there for even suggesting.
No. I was looking down on him, so it was okay. No, I'm just kidding. I just, you know, I don't know what to think about Dan Gilbert some days. I really don't.
I don't either.
I know that he's been, I believe he's been good for the community. I think he's been good for the financial health and the
city.
Of the city. I think he thinks out of the box, and he's been a forward thinker as far as pushing things in the city of Cleveland. I also think that he's the guy you want to own the team when it comes to money. How much money did he burn just on luxury tax?
But he bought a championship. He got a championship out of it.
Okay.
Which nobody's done since 1964.
Right. And so are there things that, that he does? Like, I can't stand the fact that we're the only team in the NBA that doesn't show timeouts. Where do you think that's coming from?
What do you mean doesn't show timeouts?
Look at the bottom of the screen when the Cavaliers play.
Yeah.
We don't have timeouts. We don't show the time. Go watch anybody else.
You mean there's 3 timeouts left?
It doesn't tell you how many timeouts are left.
Well, here's what they got that you're also not noticing.
Yes.
It'll say calls for and fouls for and against, and they have it reversed. Like.
No, I don't want to rip Fox. But I don't think
not
it's Fox.
I'm talking about the Humongatron.
Oh, okay.
It says against the Cavaliers. Let's say 3 fouls are against the Cavaliers. That means they were the guys who were fouled. In other words, if I foul you,
you drew a foul.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what.
They have it. Whatever it is, they have it reversed. You're talking about the broadcast itself.
Yeah.
You know what? Broadcasts in general, and this is not about Fox or anybody else. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. For us older people, I think they have too much stuff on too much information.
Fox has always been loud. They've always been cutting edge.
I just want to know the score and how much time there is.
Do you need the diff at home?
No.
No. Do you really need the diff at the arena?
I got to tell you something.
We get crushed across the country for the diff. You know that, right?
I used to make fun of it, the diff. And then one time it wasn't working. I said, hey, what's the diff? Come on. I don't know. We're down by 7 or 9. What is it?
The diff and having to tell fans when to cheer, that drives me crazy.
Hate it.
No matter what sport.
Let's take a look at the Cavs draft outlook and find out what's going on here. You know the Cavs and the Knicks and the Suns have an equal chance to get in the Zion sweepstakes. Then it's the Bulls and the Hawks. I don't have any idea how they've determined the lowest pick, the worst you can get. Do you have any idea how that was devised?
Yeah, it's based on your record. So the Knicks have the worst record.
Okay, so once they just make it for being the worst 3.
What did the Suns end up with? How many wins? Anybody in the back there know?
Oh.
I can't even remember what they. I thought, whatever.
Same record as the Cavs.
Yeah, so they have a mini lottery. That's what I thought. I just didn't want to be wrong. So the Cavs and Suns are going to have a mini lottery to determine who has the second or third best chance to get that. So in the past, it used to be a coin flip. Now it's a mini lottery. So, but the difference then becomes the back end of the pick. So again, it's based on your record during the regular season. So everybody's got 14, I think it's 14, 12, and 10 for first, second, and third. And then it spreads out on the chart to 5th, 6th, and 7th based on your record. But the Suns and Cavs have the same record, so they're going to have a mini lottery for them to figure out who is truly the second and who is the third.
All right, after watching the tournament, other than Zion, if you get the second pick or third pick, is there any of these guys that you particularly want?
I think this draft is 4 or 5 deep.
Okay.
I think we also
after number 1.
Yeah, after number 1. So it's Zion, and then you got about 4 guys that could all be impact players.
Right.
But Zion's the guy you got to pick at 1. There's no question.
216-575-0403 is the number to call if you want to get in the last segment of the show. You can certainly do that. You can also go to Northfield Park. It's your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of harness racing live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday with a post time of 6 p.m. It's open early every day at noon for simulcast action from all over the world. It's free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Andy Baskin and I return one more time. More sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Nature Stone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Nature Stone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Get Nature Stone installed in your home by the end of April and get up to half off. Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today.
It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Dennis Maniloff, now with WTAM Radio, he will join us tomorrow. We do it, the D-Man, we do it live from 6 until 7 Eastern Time, and you can archive it any time of the day. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right, so John Patrick is grading his own quickies before, we read them and he says they're good or they're bad, but today he's going to let me decide. How come microwave minutes are much longer than snooze alarm minutes? Any idea?
I didn't realize that. Good point.
How come the newspaper said vandals drilled a hole in the wall in the nudist colony and police were looking into it? We allowed to do that?
Yeah. It's internet. You can do whatever you want.
The blue Les Levine doesn't need to show up. I just remembered. This is from Cleveland Bill. I remember back in 1962, Jim Brown went over 1,000 yards at the end of the last game, played on a muddy field at San Francisco. The Browns drove near the goal line on his last carry of the year. He lost yardage and he finished with 996.
Oh, wow.
Nick Chubb is in elite company.
Yeah,
I recall too that Brown played most of that season. San Francisco played in Kezar Stadium, and I was in San Francisco driving around, and there it said Kezar. I just found it accidentally.
Where is it? Where's your sons? Are your sons out there, right? Stepson.
Yeah, he's not too far from there.
Okay.
Let's take a look at this date in Les Levine history. Can't miss that. 1964. Les couldn't get a date for his senior prom after 7 tries, hoping not to fail on the 8th. He said to a female friend, "At the risk of dating myself." Joe in Brexville says, ask Andy what he thinks the Blue Jackets have to do to win the series versus Tampa. If it's going to take a miracle, but wondering what Andy thinks.
Well, I just think it's true of any series in hockey. You're only as good as your goalie, and we all know the Blue Jackets have a hell of a good goalie. So you got to get hot, and that's what it's all about. And it's true. That's true in any hockey series.
Do you think,
and especially when you're the underdog, the way the Blue Jackets are?
I was going to say, is the favorite a favorite for a reason? And are they that much of a favorite that they should just walk through it?
Tampa's good. They're really good, yeah.
Bill in Cleveland Bill also says, baseball in dome stadiums feels as artificial as the turf that needs to be used in them. Don't ruin the traditional great outdoor experience for a potential 50 to 60,000 extra attendees in March and April.
Wait a minute, 60,000 extra? Well, and $100 a ticket? No, I'm just saying.
I mean, let's do the math on that one.
Could live in the dome if you were making money.
All right, you got 2 minutes. What do you got?
What do we got going on? It's just a great time. I think it really is. And you know what's been great? Watching all the turmoil in L.A. over the last 2 days. And it's not us.
No, it's their problem. Let's go to one of your big-time callers. That's BP and Pepper Pike. BP, go ahead.
BP!
Andy, you're going to sing the theme song from the BP gas station?
Yeah, but I had to explain that to him. I was at your event, and I saw BP. And so for years, excuse me, I got like that wine now. Maybe something in here. BP would call, and I would be like, BP, we're going to BP. I don't know, is that how old I am? Do you remember when Gary Berghoff was in those commercials?
That. I left here in 1972, so I don't know. Maybe that was
Go on Google and type in Gary Berghoff.
Right. He did BP stations? I don't remember.
I think he did like the end of the Sohio commercials and the beginning of BP. And they had a song, and the song was BP.
I do remember
BP,
that.
we're going to BP.
I often wonder because Baskin and Phelps, B&P, you own the station, ratings-wise and everything else. And I'm just wondering.
We own it? What
yeah,
do you mean?
you own it.
Okay, cool.
And I just wonder why they don't change the name from 92.3 The Fan to the BP station.
From 10 to 2. Just 10 to 2.
You're the #1 time slot and
on our station
on that time slot on that
kill
station.
it on our station.
What's on your mind, BP?
Well, it's funny. Last night I was watching the NBA, and all of a sudden, it scrolled across the screen. Magic Johnson resigns as president. I was like, wow, what? Just 9 months ago, the guy, the guy steals our best player. He drives over to LeBron's house in LA, wherever that is.
Come on, BP. Really, you think he was stolen?
I'm sorry?
You think he was stolen?
You think he had to make a big pitch?
Well, I mean, LeBron, ended up with the Lakers. I'm glad, this is sort of like a little bit of a revenge. It's like, I think LeBron made a huge mistake. I like LeBron. I'm glad he brought us that one championship. I think he should have brought us more than one championship after all those years. And, I think he should have stayed around here. Like, Kobe Bryant stayed in L.A., Michael Jordan stayed for the most part.
Kobe wanted to go. Jordan ended up playing baseball, ended up in Washington. If you want to say Nowitzki's a good. If you would have said Nowitzki, you would have won.
Nowitzki, what, 20 years?
20 years. You would have won if you would have said Nowitzki on that.
I'm sorry?
They all leave.
Everybody
in
leaves.
the NBA, they all
do. But in the end, LeBron was from here. He's a once in a lifetime talent. It would have been nice if he, like last night, you saw Dwayne Wade was basically basking in the warmth of all those fans. All dressed in white in Miami Arena. Sending them off. Like, doesn't LeBron want that kind of a send off?
Well, if he doesn't win next year, I don't think the 1 year messes up his legacy, but if 2 and beyond do, I think that he may even move down to number 3 or number 4 is the best of all time. Agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I also think he was hurt this year.
Curry
and look,
and Durant are probably going to win another championship this summer. So they're going to have 3 and 4 championships. These guys are going to pass LeBron on the championship meter. So
you're probably right. Okay.
Well, also, Les, I wanted to congratulate you on your honor tomorrow. So that obviously it's well deserved. So congratulations to you on that.
BP, that's just because you had an idiotic take last week, but you've made up for it by saying what you just said.
I know. That's why I said it.
I don't even remember what it was.
Guys.
Thanks.
All right. Does he make him a friend of the show or no?
And he's been a friend of the show, but
okay, I just want to make sure.
But he said something that he knew was stupid, and I knew it was stupid, and then I realized he's just playing with me. What can I tell you? Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Oh, well, we're going to take one more call.
We'll take another call.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Hold on a second. All right, we have to keep talking until we line it up.
Oh, okay. It's like stretch time.
Yeah.
It's like 7th inning stretch.
Exactly.
Do you sing along?
I do.
You do sing?
And ever since my kids were kids, I added something to it.
Let's hear it.
Take the old ball game, bump, bump.
Oh, you do that?
I added bump, bump. How can you not sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"?
I just like standing. I'm not a good singer.
How come they say "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" when you're already there?
Because it's a love song. Have you ever heard the other verse?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that does it. We've talked our way through
We're
the
done.
last caller. We're done.
Done.
We
good luck tomorrow, Les.
Thank you very
good
much.
Luck.
Appreciate you and your friendship and all you do for me. That'll do it for us. It'll be the D-Man Dennis Maniloff tomorrow night. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.